Hey, hello, Brian. How are you?
Hello, hello, George, and everyone. Glad to be back.
Glad to see you. The Sunday that becomes Monday. You know?
Yeah, had a little fall through yesterday, but we're back at it again.
Yeah, yeah. No worries, man. No worries. Something happens every time, and no worries about it. Okay, continuing our project. I think that next step is create our endpoint to get the account types, right, Brian?
That's why we're going to make an index endpoint today and write some RSpec tests for it as well.
Yeah, continue framework, and okay,
Sure.
started.
Exciting. I wonder even if we could get like a create endpoint made today as well,
Yeah,
um, just depending on time, because the index might not take that long.
yeah, index is
We'll
very
see.
easy, but the idea is that the project, the idea that account type account, it's a type of account, for example, bank, saving. The entity identify what kind of account you're tracking your debits or your entry and outs. For example, you have account type for wallet, for account type for your savings, one account type for your credit card. You know? So I think this is I don't need totally crude identity because just to uh, help the user to what the kind of account you're tracking records, right? Not the account itself, but it's something
So you
that
don't think so? This will be like a set list of
yeah,
things that we decide on. Then users won't be able to create new
yeah,
account
that's it.
types.
Yeah, that's it. Because maybe the user wants to say, I want to track all the money that I have on my wallet. Okay, you have account type wallet. So just like that. So the user don't have any uh, create a new account type or not. Maybe just to as the user select this from a set of the account types to select, oh, that's the account type that you want to track. It makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I totally thought this table was going to be used differently, but the way you've described it does make sense. I thought this table was going to be more for like distinguishing between users, such as like admin users or like account owners versus like read-only users, people who can only log in and see the budget, but they can't actually like create transactions. But no, what you're saying makes sense. It
Yeah,
sounds like when we get to the point, we'll want to create a users table and maybe a user type table as well,
yeah,
if I'm understanding you.
yeah, I think that because for this idea here, the account is points to counts in terms of accountability, right? Not in terms of register for login or permissions, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So remember that why yes, last section it was the model account type. Of course, we have database migration, and we have this test for the model, right? Yeah, it. So this is that we done until now. So to get these account types for the front end, we need to expose a door for the API to the front end that front end can't. Oh, give me the account types, right? So that's we have here the idea of the controller on the rails, right? This is the door that we expose the function for the other word, right? And create a controller is very, very simple. Walk in the park, right? Rails, generate controller, name a controller. Account types. That yeah, plural in the controller, right? Right.
Yep, the controller has to be plural.
Okay. Uh, so you can see here the Rails create two files. One for the controller itself, the other for the our testing.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we'll probably want to start in the test file, yeah?
So uh, the only thing that maybe you need to change here is that the RSpec consider that you are creating black box tests for the controller. So that's why they creating folder create request. But the idea here is testing the the controller itself. So
Well, that's what a
not
request spec. That's what a
not
request spec does.
yeah, not as a request, but just the controller itself. So the kind of the tests we change is not a black box, but a white box test, right? To do that, you need to change the the folder, or we can rename the folder and rename the kind of test that we are using. Very simple.
Oh, I thought we are writing request specs. The request folder is standard for Rails APIs.
Yeah,
Were you thinking of making a new folder for called controllers?
yeah. I think that
That's
let requests for now empty because the the future we need this folder to create the air segment test, right? So their seg using request folder.
sure. I guess I I'm pretty sure Rails added the request folder to replace the controller specs because you're essentially testing the same thing. Your request spec is going to end up being, get/index, and then your controller test is also going to say get/index. They're essentially going to be testing the same thing, aren't they? So we should probably
Yeah,
just stick with request tests, I would think. No need to repeat the logic in the controller.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can do that. Okay. So for now, run tests. So it's back quest tests. You have a fail. Okay. Just why? Because you don't have service not running yet.
Oh yeah, our database isn't
Yeah.
running.
So Docker the database is not running. I create alias, call it this Docker Compose. And I think that can now run. Yeah. So we don't have in test. So that's okay. So describe. So for this describe and create the account types samples that we have for. And here we can create find account types equals create list on type, maybe 10 records or 11 records. So after that,
No semicolons in Ruby
yeah,
at the end of line 5.
yeah, they
I
wrote,
got
yeah, they wrote a lot of JavaScript file, you know.
Sorry, yeah, from Cypress test. Yeah, 11's a good number because we'll be able to test maybe pagination. We could have it start by just showing 10 at once.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I think 11 is a good number, because maybe in the future on the another controller or in this controller we can implement pagination was when we
Yeah, sure.
detect that we need the pagination, right? Probably the transactions is something that use it. Okay, so now we describe the so I think that is get, right? Getting this. Oh,
Well, we'll probably change the name of the endpoint because we want to be RESTful. So I would maybe instead of get index, I would have it be get slash account types. So that matches
oh yeah.
the route. There we go. Yeah, and then that'll be get. I believe get in request spec. Get takes a string. It'll be telling it get slash account type. The request specs are a little different than controller specs, but yeah, as of our spec version 3.5, they recommend request specs
Yeah.
instead.
Okay, you are the pilot and just the co-pilot that put this the code here.
Yeah, let's see.
Fact.
Let me pull up an example quick.
Nothing.
So I believe what we're going to want to do is assign. Yeah, we're going to say response equals get slash account type. So that's going to assign the response to a variable that we can read.
That's right. Get account types.
Yeah. And then let's start. Let's see what that does, and we can say expect response not to be nil. So this would just be a very basic test that checks that we get a response.
Okay. Not
Not to, and then be nil. There we go. Or you could even do b underscore nil, just to be a little bit more fancy, but either one works.
it's yes for the
Yep.
parentheses.
So let's run this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Might have to
Fail.
change the syntax on line 8 a little bit, but we'll see what the test says.
Yeah. So get is not
Get
available on the
only available
example
from
group.
within individual. Oh, we need to be in a single test where we're
Yeah.
building right in the describe block right now, it looks like.
Yeah. Here have
Yep.
can change it
So we
here.
just need to. Yeah, that should work for now.
Yeah. And fail because we don't have the route.
There we go. No route matches get slash account type. So now we can go to our routes folder, and then
Config.
George, I know you know a little bit more about the routes helpers here. Usually when I write a route, I just hand roll it. I'll say like get slash endpoint, and then you'll say to this controller on this action.
Yeah.
But how would you go about this one? Because I've seen you be pretty keen with those route helpers.
Yeah, I think that, for example, here, uh, account controller, we don't have any method, right? So we can create a method called it index, right?
Yeah,
This method,
absolutely.
we have variable called client,
Account type,
account types, equals
account type dot all probably
type dot
for now.
raw. Yeah, or these are code that do that. And render JSON count types, right? Status. Okay.
Okay, so then active serializer will automatically
Yeah.
create JSON objects for each of the account types.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the idea. Or whole example that we have. Of course, we can
Nice.
use specialized gems for the serialization, like active model serialization, stuff like that. But for
Right.
this model is just so simple. We have just ID name and the timestamps. I think that that's okay to traffic the data.
Totally
Don't
agree.
have we don't have any special treatment model.
And we should probably do, yeah, we should use the embedded Rails serializer whenever we can because it makes for such a clean code here. This controller is very simple to understand, right? But if we had to have more complexity of, initializing a new serializer and passing the account type variable to that serializer,
Yeah.
it adds more complexity. So, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
I
that
like this setup for sure.
yeah. Well, I think that we just use a specialized serialization, deserialization gem if we really need it, because if not, it's just a waste of the process of the
Yeah,
because
waste of effort.
yeah. Okay, so we have the map here, and with this method, you can go to the routes file, and here it's good to do something that I I like, because here have controllers and controllers account type and application controller, right? But we forget something. Maybe this is the version 1 of this API, right? Maybe in the future we have another version.
Yep. We might end up with a version 2.
Yeah.
We might want to implement versioning here. That's a good catch.
Yeah. So to do that, I think that we can create a subfolder, right? The controllers, and move this controller that we created to this new folder, right?
Right. Is it going to be V1?
Yeah, I created like just create here one.
Oh, API first. Okay. I thought maybe since the app itself is an API, that we wouldn't need the API folder, but it's just a good notifier, so makes sense.
One, and move this file
API/v1.
here, just that class I1.
Nice.
The rule copy say use nested model instead use.
I think we can disable that rule. What do you think? I prefer using the 2 colons like you did.
Yeah.
But some people prefer saying module.
So here I think that we need to change request to create.
Oh, yep, we'll need to create an API and a v1 folder in here as well.
Move this file one here. I think this
We'll have
here
to
we
rename. I think we have to rename that.
That.
Yeah, let's run it and see what happens. That way it'll at least tell us.
Yeah. So.
Okay, that looks right.
Okay. Point here. Now we go to routes. Here in the routes, creating space I namespace right? Here.
The do in the end.
Yeah. Here we can have the method. So
Is it get account types?
yeah. Oh my god, but help. Open,
I believe it's
open the browser. I forget how. Sorry, man.
oh, no problem.
That's a Rails routes
Helpers.
guidelines. Outside. Model. Go. Guidelines. Operation basics. Rollers. Storage. Testing. Debugging.
I think that Rails routing from the outside in article is the one you want.
That Rails routing.
Yeah.
Propose generating path and code link to user. So here we
Well, this
have
is more about the resources. Yep.
the sources, but we have custom. Comment. So turn add.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, here member do get.
Ah,
Yeah.
there's RESTful route. So what does the member do for?
The member is this method. For example, the method preview is member for the one photo ID right how right like that say here. So for each photo you have a preview method. A member for each one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That tells Rails that it's going to have an ID attached to it.
Yeah. But the idea here we have the collection. So the collection just we don't need the resources, right? So just uh, get name the method and say to this one here the idea like that. Here we have, for example, okay, verb get, have count types, to controller and method. So controller is
Oh, sure. I've used this syntax before. It's index.
can use here. So count types can of controller count types hashtag right. If we
Yeah, that's
this
the
is
manual way.
okay and run the test.
Do we need a slash there? I think we need a slash at the beginning of account type. Let's see what happens with our spec first. Like we need get slash account types at the beginning of the method because that's a route.
Yeah.
We're telling it.
Okay, go.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, no route. No route.
Oh, because our route is actually under API/v1/account types.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the test, we're
We
only
just
sending it to
call only direct. Yeah.
yep directly to account types. So
Oh,
we'll have to edit the test a little bit. No big deal.
not big deal. guy v1 account type and run again. Whoa. Bad
We don't have
URL.
a.
Oh, missing
Looks
slash.
like we need to set our base
Yeah.
URL.
Yeah. It's missing a slash.
Oh, you need a, yeah, that's right. You need a slash at the beginning.
And go. Okay. Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. Sweet, sweet
So
like honey.
that's good. It looks like the controller is working. We
Yeah.
could definitely improve this test to make it, to make it expect the data a bit better.
Yeah, we can, for example, we can inspect response as status code, right? And expect that
This code is 200.
Yeah, 200, or in case you use Rails, just okay. Expect response request.
Is response.
Yeah, is a response have potatoes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Why you use it? Okay. Because Rails have some verbs request potatoes, that is abbreviation for the codes. Potatoes, okay. Like a REST verb, constant.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, we can consult on the Rails documentation. Here, they are sending status okay, right? Of
Good.
course, you can change it, for example, to 100. Of course.
And that would do the same. That would also pass the test, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, the state was okay, and we can expect that response
You can check, so because
size.
it's an index,
I think that
I
we
like
can.
to check that it is an array of hashes.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we might have to parse it into JSON.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like JSON.parse response.body is going to be the data that we want. So that could be another variable we create here.
JSON response equals JSON parse response body.
So this is converting the plain JSON string that we got into a Ruby object that we can manipulate easier.
The hash transformation, right? So you can take the JSON or JSON forms to Ruby hash.
Yeah.
And
much easier to test on.
Yeah.
So we're going to want to test that. Let's first test that JSON response is an array. And this is going to be the most thorough test that you can have for a prospect. So yeah, we'll say JSON response dot is a array, or yeah, dot to be an array. Sorry. Yeah, an array has a capital A.
Oh yeah. Type.
Oh, and last thing, the method is b underscore an to be an array. An array. So we're calling the bn method, and then yeah, we're passing it the array class. Perfect. And if you want to copy and paste that line, we could also test the objects inside of it as well.
Fact. False.
And then instead of bn, we're going to say that to be all, and we'll pass the hash class to b underscore all. So
AccountType.
it'll be hash, HASH, because at this point it's going to be split into JSON and then absorbed as objects. So we won't recognize it as account type. They'll just be plain hashes.
So
Be all hash.
all. Sorry.
Yeah, be all, and then instead of account type, pass it the hash class, the capital H. Yeah, we would say be all account type if we were writing a unit test for the model, right? For like the search
Yeah.
method, then we would use that. But in this case, because we're parsing JSON, it's just going to be a plain Ruby object that we get. It won't distinguish. But yeah, this should pass. So basically, we're just assuming that we get an array full of hashes.
Have fail.
Expect response, but to have HTTP status. Okay.
Type.
So an integer was received. Why don't we look at the controller
Line.
and see why it might have returned an integer?
Here. Find it.
It might. Try expect response dot. You could do expect response dot status inside of that. Yeah, response dot status. And then you could just expect it to equal 200. Yep, like that. That's how I would do it. I haven't used the have HTTP status method before.
On the final method. Yeah.
Oh, response is coming back as an integer. That's strange. Why would it?
West. Just to testing, right?
Oh, I get you. Checking the request.
Oh, no matter.
Oh, but you might be able to use the have HTTP status method with the request object. But I still don't understand why response is showing up as a integer. That's weird. It seems like something wrong is in the controller.
Okay, just line right now. Okay, what have on? Yeah.
See, yeah, yeah. The
Bar.
controller is returning an integer. So let's look at the controller.
Yeah. So I think that we can test very.
Why don't we just? Can we just look at the controller really quick? We haven't looked at the controller in a while. So if we could just look at the controller action to see what's going wrong there. Yeah, because the test is telling us that the response is an integer object.
Types.
Under JSON, add account types. I don't know, it might be that that JSON method is expecting a actual JSON object.
Yeah.
Sure.
For that.
Well, if we create a JSON method for the account type model, couldn't that solve this problem? We could have it, instead of rendering the account types directly,
Oh yeah,
we could call the
let's see
JSON method.
that.
Oh, to JSON. Okay.
That we can
Let's see what
just
that does.
yeah that render JSON, convert all the collection to JSON.
Yep. And it might, let's check, that to JSON method might be built into Rails, or we might have to write our own to JSON method, but it wouldn't be that hard. We're going to want to restore the test. We're going to want to restore that test to have the line. So
Bounce. Dot describe size.
I think just response to that. It might even be HTTP status. So let's see. Yeah, let's just run it and see what happens. Why is it returning an integer? That doesn't make any sense.
Not make
Could
sense.
you have it print the response object just straight to the console? Like right there on line 10, you could do print response.
Yeah, I
That
think
way we'll
that
see what it's doing.
yeah that we can Rails.
Or you can put a buy bug in the test as well.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that.
Buy bug is will probably work.
Here we use finding Derby. Point for because the Rails 7 booger jam. That's why you use fighting here.
Good enough.
Fast.
You should be able to just put buy bug there though, right? I thought that was built into Rails.
That we not installed by bug here. Bug.
Gem debug.
That. Test. Happened.
Yeah, then we could read that response object.
Yeah. Here,
There we go.
response 100.
Mm, that's interesting.
Response west.
Well, it's just giving us an integer. I think
Oh,
that get
west
method
point
might want to
bar.
use something else.
West point.
A define method. One moment. I feel like we're just using.
Response.
Ah, okay.
Respond
Okay.
to.
I'm looking at the documentation, and we made a mistake when we
Yeah.
assigned the response to a variable. That was our mistake. The response object is handled by RSpec. So instead, what we'll do is we'll just say get slash API slash v1 slash account type without the variable. Yep.
Yeah.
And then now
We have the
that get method has
yeah.
created the response variable for us already.
Yeah.
So now you should be able to use the have HTTP status method. Yeah.
That.
And it might actually pass now.
Yeah, I hope.
We should get an array of hashes, depending on if. Now what we're going to see is if the to JSON works in the controller. I think that's our next hurdle.
That's why the expected have got 200, right?
Oh, we got to use the have HTTP status method.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep, we'll exit there, and then replace equal with have HTTP status. Awesome. And let's do that.
Whoop.
Failed.
Because we don't need the access.
Oh, you called you called response.static.
Don't need it. Good. Pass.
Awesome. Oh, sweet. So even that means the to JSON method works and is built into Rails already. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Sweet, sweet like a honey.
Yeah, sweet like honey. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so now just let me open Emacs and we can run our server. Yes.
Yep. Now that we've got the endpoint working in RSpec, we should be able to test it using. What do you think? You're going to use Postman, maybe?
I think that for this fish we can use just the browser itself.
Oh yeah. In this case, we can, since it's just a GET request. You're right.
Yeah. So host.
It might be an empty array. I think it's going to be an empty array because we haven't made any seed data yet.
Just 1 second here.
Sure.
My phone's ringing. One account types.json. Yeah.
You need the .json part?
Don't have any.
Oh yeah, because without .json, it'll send it as an HTTP request, huh?
Yeah.
Or as a HTML request.
Yeah, you're right. Just give him 1 second, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah. So I think that we need database with some count types. What do you think?
Yeah, we could even just create two for now so that we can see them in the example. I know we're reaching the end of the stream time, so I don't want to dig too much into your night. Getting
Yeah.
late.
Yeah. So go back. File here. Right?
Yep.
Just
If
for
we
this
want, we
one.
could require faces here.
Sorry?
If you want, you could require faker here, the gem, so that way you could use it to generate fake data. But we could also just hard code data into this file as well.
Yeah. Just a few count types. Pick this and
Yep.
use count site.create as asset.
Yep. And in new versions of Ruby, we actually don't need. Oh, are you creating multiple in the one call here? I see.
Yeah. The
I was going to say
idea.
we don't need the hash. We don't need the curly brackets, but in this case we do, since we're creating multiple at once.
The idea.
Pretty
Copy here.
clever.
Huh?
Pretty clever.
That we five bank.
And then
Savings.
bank, cash, assets, savings, HSA, health. I don't know.
The health is more related coverage action, not with words.
Gotcha.
That bracket. We go. So go back to here. Just
Rails BBC. Awesome. Oh, excuse me.
now we just think bingo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Yeah, that's great. Great. So finally we have something that we are exposed more visual, right?
Yeah, we've exposed our first endpoint.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. That's it. That we reached the on our section, and that's good for today.
Yeah,
Does the
next
next
week.
Yeah, we can does the next steps on Sunday.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week we'll probably move into creating the account, the actual account model, and then building some of the Vue.js front end, I think.
Yeah, I think that we can
To the front end here.
yeah, that we can move account model, right?
Yeah,
Account,
we could.
account model we have okay, so controllers, models, there are spec tests, but with models we can finally jump in front end and create the CRUD for the account. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Let's
Brandon,
do it.
for your time. Again, thank you for help. Pleasure to have you here. Help build this project.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me. I'll plan to see you next week.
Okay. See you. Bye bye, guys.
Cool.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget subscribe and thumbs up. That's it.
That's all right. Have a
Thank you.
great week, everybody.
Great week, guys. Bye bye.